back. My name is Erin Nicole. I'm a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and I am the founder of I Am Moonly, so welcome. Also, yes, our Christmas decorations are still up. Our Christmas trees right here. We will eventually do it. I know, it's like middle of January. We just like having the Christmas decorations up, so we'll eventually deal with it. But today we're gonna be talking about what are some great anti-inflammatory foods. I love talking about this because I have endometriosis, which is an inflammatory condition. Almost every single person on my mom's side has at least one autoimmune disease. Endometriosis technically isn't an autoimmune disease. However, it often aligns in a lot of things that help people with autoimmune diseases also helps people with endo. So not an autoimmune disease, but is an inflammatory condition. So this is the area that's worked for me and so many of my clients, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about it. So when we're looking at inflammation, they have found in the research that inflammation comes back to the gut. We have this gut microbiome that helps deal with everything that goes on with our body. When we eat, that food ends up in our digestive tract, and our digestive tract can't handle it. It's gonna react, and over time, if it's reacting, we notice things start to pop up. We notice, chronic acne, painful periods, and we know that there's an association with autoimmune diseases and endometriosis. So what we're gonna focus on today are some foods that you can start introducing into your life that can help bring down that inflammation, because I have been there and I still have endometriosis, of course. And how do I know I still have endometriosis? Because I know it can't be cured. And I know if I spend a lot of months eating inflammatory foods, my endo kicks in, so trust me. All right, first thing we are gonna start with, what are inflammatory foods? So some of your most commonly inflammatory foods are things are packaged and full of sugar and are white. So I'm talking about your white bread, your white pasta, your white pastries, brownies, cookies, packaged chips, goldfish, things along those lines. Look at the ingredients. Oftentimes they've gone to a highly refined process, which means that when they've gone through the process, they've basically lost all of their nutrients and there's no nutrients left. When you see that white fluffy bread, it's essentially just flour and sugar. Any nutrients that was still in there is completely gone. And so that's why we want to cut back on those highly refined foods, refined sugars like white sugar, brown sugar. Cane sugar obviously isn't a refined sugar, but it has been associated with inflammation. Other things that you might want to consider as well are things like nuts and seeds, which is so contradictory, I know, because they're great. Depending on the person, nuts and seeds are either going to work or not work. I'm actually allergic to nuts and seeds and I have endo, so I find it interesting that I can't have them anyways. Another thing that can be inflammatory for some people is red meat. I've personally found, even though I've switched to grass-fed red meat, I can have it in small amounts now and I feel so much better. One thing I forgot to add when it comes to dealing with inflammation is it does take time. So you're not going to take out these foods for 2 or 3 days and notice a difference. You really got to give your body over time the chance to really catch up. So those are some of the foods you're going to want to cut back down on. Even alcohol, if you are a big drinker, please try to cut down on your alcohol as well. If you are here, I imagine it's because you want to start dealing with it in a natural way possible and supporting yourself, and that's what I'm trying to provide you with. So cutting back on alcohol will help. All right, so what are some foods that you can start increasing? Number one are berries. Berries have great antioxidants, which can help our body deal with inflammation in our liver and gallbladder. So berries are things like strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. I personally love having my berries just on hand. Like I probably will just have some strawberries after this. You can do them on yogurt though, and the great thing about yogurt is you're also getting that good bacteria for your gut microbiome. You can make your own yogurt at home, but you can also get it from the store. Number two is fish. So one of the biggest things about today's modern day health is that we don't eat enough good fats. A lot of us eat too many PUFAs. So PUFAs are vegetable oils, and these are most things that if you eat deep fried food or you eat out a lot, canola oil, vegetable oil, anything like that, essentially they are considered sustained at high temperatures. That's why people fry things with them. However, in high amounts, they can become inflammatory to the body and cause issues. So when I'm talking about fats, we want to get more things like fish in there. So salmon, whitebait, whiting, tilapia, prawns, or shrimp, whatever can help you get more fats in there. We know that fats is associated heavily with reducing inflammation. So I try to have fats almost every meal, which no, I'm not having fish every meal, but I usually have, like olives or coconut oil, olive oil, all those different types of fats are gonna help reduce that inflammation. So you wanna try to have fats at least 3 different meals throughout the day. White meat, like I said, red meat can be inflammatory. So to get a good source of protein with animal-based amino amino acids, which are crucial to the gut and the gut microbiome and our overall health. You look at things like chicken, turkey, duck, things like that. Try to have more of those base proteins if you're used to red meat. If you're not, then you're probably already eating heaps of things like chicken, which can help reduce inflammation. Another thing, which is going to depend on the person, are things called cruciferous vegetables. These are kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, collard greens. There's a long list of them. These are going to work for some people, not for everyone. Essentially, cruciferous vegetables contain something called DIM. So when we eat these vegetables, our body converts it to something called DIM, which supports our liver and gallbladder in detoxing properly. So that's why a lot of people recommend taking DIM supplements. I would honestly just recommend eating more cruciferous vegetables if you can, because it's going to help your liver and gallbladder function properly, which is how we detox our body, especially if you're dealing with something like the MTHFR gene mutation. Next, I know for some of you, including myself, cutting back on sugar is a pretty big deal. So as you're starting to cut back, remember that we're only supposed to be having about 6 grams of sugar a day. That's really not that much. That's about 1 teaspoon of sugar a day. That's pretty much all we need and all they recommend. And most people notice benefits as they start to cut back on our sugar, because if you typically buy a lot of takeout food, or you buy a lot of packaged food, like, oh, this says organic or this says natural from the store, actually look at the back to see how much sugar is actually in it. It'll probably surprise you. So if you are used to baking your own stuff at home and you don't know what to replace with, try using maple syrup or honey. I find that for my stomach, maple syrup is better in big amounts than honey. That could be more of a high FODMAP issue, but that can be helpful as well. But remember, we're not trying to eat the exact same amount of sugar, just in a different source of it. And so the whole point is, remember to have less sugar, but when you're using sugar, you can use maple syrup and honey as a replacement. Next, we have ginger and turmeric. These are great anti-inflammatory spices. So I love having ginger, lemon, and rosemary tea with a little bit of honey. That is great for your immune system, which is exactly what we're trying to do. And then also, turmeric is also meant to be an anti-inflammatory. I like to have mine in orange juice. Some people put theirs in their smoothie. It is quite a harsh taste, but it is going to help your body. And I try my best to have it as much as I can, because I know that the curcumin, which is part of it and which actually gives us the anti-inflammatory components, is quite beneficial for us. Next is avocados. Like I said, getting those fats in there, and olive oil. Guys, I can't emphasize enough fat. And when I'm talking about fats as well, the best way for us to absorb nutrients and actually get energy from our food is to make sure that we're having plenty of fat, protein, and carb at each meal. So all fruit and veg break down as a carb. Fats are things like olive oil, fish, nuts, and seeds, and then protein are also fish, but also white meat. So trying to get a diverse array of things is going to help you tremendously. All right, well, I hope this video has been helpful. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to comment below. If you have something that has worked for you inflammation-wise, comment below. I will say that most people start noticing benefits as they start to make changes, but remember, you have to be consistent as well. All right, well, thank you so much for visiting, and remember to like and subscribe if you like this video and you want to stay around for future videos. I will see you all next week. Bye.